You have been lied to. From the moment you were old enough to understand words, someone handed you a script. Go to school, study hard, get a good job, work hard, save money, retire someday. Maybe. That was the plan. That was supposed to be enough. But here you are, older now, waking up to an alarm you didn't set for yourself, driving to a building you don't own, spending 8, 9, 10 hours building someone else's dream, coming home exhausted, doing it again tomorrow. And somewhere deep inside you, underneath the routine, underneath the autopilot, underneath the quiet acceptance, there is a voice. It whispers, "This can't be it." Warren Buffett heard that whisper too, except he didn't ignore it. He didn't silence it with distraction or comfort or excuses. He listened. And what he discovered didn't just change his bank account. It changed the way he saw the entire world. Today, we are going to go inside that discovery. We are going to dismantle the lie you were told. And by the time this is over, you will never look at money, time, or work the same way again. It is 1941, Omaha, Nebraska. A boy 11 years old walks into a brokerage firm with his sister Doris. He has saved $38. Every single cent he has earned delivering newspapers, selling chewing gum door to door, collecting golf balls and reselling them. $38. That is his entire world. He buys 3 shares of Citi's Service Preferred at $38 each. The stock drops. It falls to $27. His sister looks at him. Every morning she reminds him of what he has done to her money. Every morning that guilt sits on his small shoulders like a stone. He waits, he holds, he breathes. The stock climbs back. It reaches $40. He sells. He makes a small profit. He breathes a sigh of relief, and then he watches. He watches as Citi's service climbs to $202 per share. In that moment, something cracked open inside Warren Buffett. Not anger, not regret. Something far more powerful. Understanding. He understood that the greatest mistake a person can make is not losing money. The greatest mistake is selling your future for the comfort of today. He was 11 years old, and he never forgot that lesson. Not when he was worth $1 million, not when he was worth $1 billion, not when he crossed $100 billion. That 11-year-old boy never forgot what it felt like to almost let his future go. But let us not romanticize this. Let us not pretend the path was golden and the road was smooth. Because here is what they don't put on the motivational posters. Most people never escape the trap. Most people work 40 years for a paycheck they never fully control, for a retirement that barely covers their cost of living, for a freedom that arrives too late, when the body is tired and the years are gone. You know this feeling. Maybe you are living it right now. You check your bank account on a Tuesday morning and something tightens in your chest. Not panic. Worse than panic. A slow, grinding anxiety that never fully leaves. The kind that sits with you at dinner. The kind that wakes you at 3 in the morning. The kind that makes you smile at people while something inside you is quietly drowning. You are not lazy. You are not stupid. You are not broken. You were never taught. Nobody sat you down and said, your time has a ceiling. No matter how hard you work, no matter how many hours you sacrifice, there are only 24 hours in a day. And when you trade time for money, only time for money, you have already lost before you began. Because rich people understood something. Something so fundamental, so earth-shaking that once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. They don't work for money. They make money work for them. Read that again. They don't work for money, they make money work for them. There is a chasm between those two sentences. A canyon, an ocean, a lifetime. And most people live their entire lives on the wrong side of it. Buffett has said it himself quietly, without arrogance, with the calm certainty of a man who has seen the truth from every angle. He said, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." Read that one more time. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Not until you retire. Not until you rest. Until you die. Now. Let us talk about the moment everything changes. For Buffett, it was that 11-year-old boy watching Citi's service climb to $200. For others, it comes later. Sometimes, much later. But the moment always looks the same. It is the moment you stop asking, how do I earn more? And you start asking, how does money multiply without me? That shift, that single pivot in thinking. That is the turning point. You stop seeing money as a reward for effort. You start seeing money as a worker, as a tool, as a seed, as an engine that runs whether you are awake or asleep, whether you are at the office or on a beach, whether you are young and energetic or old and tired. The wealthy don't have more hours in the day than you. They have never found a way to stretch time. What they found, what Buffett found at 11 years old in that brokerage firm in Omaha, is that money, when deployed with patience and wisdom, grows without your presence. And that changes everything. Lesson 1. The difference between an asset and a liability will determine your entire life. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That is it. That is the whole game. The house you live in, and that is a liability. It costs you property tax, maintenance, insurance, mortgage. Money flows out. The apartment you rent to someone else, where's that as an asset? Money flows in while you sleep. The car you drive to work, liability. The business that delivers products without you, asset. The overtime you work for a boss trading your time. The royalty from a book, a song, a system, money working for you. Buffett understood this so deeply that he lived in the same modest Omaha home he bought in 1958 for $31,500. While the world expected a man of his wealth to be surrounded by mansions and yachts, he was quietly compounding, quietly building empires, quietly letting money do what money does when you treat it with respect and patience. Was not cheap. He was wise, and there is a profound difference. Lesson 2. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Einstein allegedly called it that. And whether he said it or not, the truth behind those words could change your life if you let it. Compounding is not complicated. It is almost insultingly simple. Money grows. The growth grows. The growth on the growth grows. You invest $1. It becomes 2. The 2 become 4. The 4 become 16. The 16 become 256. You didn't work for any of those numbers. You just had the patience to let time do what time does. Buffett started investing at 11. By the time he was 30, he was a millionaire. By 60, a billionaire. By 80, a 100 billionaire. And here is the staggering part: 99% of his wealth came after his 65th birthday. 99%. He didn't work harder at 65 than he did at 30. The machine was already running. The engine had been built. The seeds had been planted decades before, and they were still growing. That is the power you have been sleeping next to your entire life without knowing it was there. Lesson 3. Your greatest investment is your mind. Buffett reads 500 pages every single day. Every day. Not articles. Not social media. Not headlines, substance, depth, knowledge that compounds just like money does. He said something once that should stop you cold. He said, the more you learn, the more you earn. But it goes deeper than money. When you invest in your own understanding, your understanding of business, of human nature, of history, of patterns, you develop something no market crash can take from you: judgment. And judgment is the most valuable asset on earth. Every book you read is a seed. Every hard conversation you have to grow through is a seed. Every failure you sit with honestly and extract the lesson from that is a seed. Rich people don't just invest money. They invest attention. They invest time. They invest the radical, uncomfortable discipline of learning things that don't entertain them but transform them. You want to think like Buffett?
Start by reading like Buffett.
Start by questioning like Buffett. Start by being willing to be wrong, to be patient, to be misunderstood, and to keep building anyway. Lesson 4. Fear and greed are the enemy. Buffett's most famous rule is so simple it sounds like a joke, until you understand how few people actually follow it. Be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. In 2008, the entire world was collapsing. Banks were failing. Fortunes were disappearing. People were selling everything in a blind, screaming panic. Warren Buffett was buying. He wrote an op-ed for the New York Times in the middle of the crisis. He said he was buying American stocks. While the world ran from the burning building, he walked toward it with a briefcase full of capital. Why? Because he understood something that panic prevents you from seeing. The fundamentals had not changed. The businesses were still real. The products were still being made. The world was not ending. It was going on sale. Most people let emotion drive their financial decisions. And emotion is the most expensive driver in the world. Fear makes you sell at the bottom. Greed makes you buy at the top. And the market, the cold, mechanical, indifferent market, takes the money from the emotional and delivers it to the patient every single time. Lesson 5. Time is the asset that cannot be replaced. We talk about money like it is the rarest thing. But money can be made again. Money can be rebuilt. A bad investment can be recovered from. Time cannot. Buffett guards his time with a ferocity that most people reserve for their savings account. He declines most meetings. He protects long stretches of uninterrupted thinking time. He has said that the ability to say no is one of the greatest skills a person can develop. Not because he is arrogant, because he understands that every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right thing. Every hour you spend doing work that doesn't build toward your freedom is an hour you are not getting back. Every year you delay understanding money is a year of compounding you will never recover. Start now, not Monday. Not when the timing is better. Not when you feel ready. Now, because in 10 years you will wish you had started 10 years ago. And that regret, heavy, quiet, permanent, is the cost of waiting. I want you to stop for a moment. Just stop. Think about the version of you that is 10 years from now. Picture that person. Really see them. In one version of that future, you are still in the same cycle. Still trading hours for dollars. Still waking to an alarm you resent. Still watching the weekend arrive like oxygen and disappear like smoke. Still wondering why the numbers never seem to grow. Why the freedom never seems to arrive. Why the life you imagined at 20 feels further away now than it did then. In another version of that future, you made a different decision. Not a dramatic one. Not an overnight miracle. A quiet, disciplined, intentional decision to understand money differently. You started learning. You started investing. You started building something that worked while you slept. You started treating every dollar not as a reward to be spent, but as a worker to be deployed. And 10 years from now, that version of you is breathing differently, waking up differently, looking at the world with a different kind of eyes. Not because you got lucky, because you got wise. This is what Warren Buffett represents. Not obscene wealth for its own sake. Not the cold accumulation of numbers in an account. He represents what is possible when a human being refuses to accept the limitations that were handed to them. When a child in Omaha with $38 and a dream decides that he will not work his whole life for money, he will make money work for him. He represents the truth that has always been available to you. The truth that was buried under decades of bad advice and comfortable mediocrity and fear, dressed up as wisdom. The truth is simple. Money is a tool. And like any tool, in the wrong hands it does nothing. In the right hands, patient hands, educated hands, disciplined hands, it builds something that lasts long after you are gone. You have those hands. You have always had those hands. So here is where we land. Here is what I need you to do. Not tomorrow, not after you finish the next video or scroll through one more feed. Right now, ask yourself one honest question, just one. Is my money working for me, or am I working for it? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, okay, you're good. That discomfort is a door. On the other side of that door is a different life. Start learning. Read the books Buffett has recommended. The Intelligent Investor, Poor Charlie's Almanac, The Richest Man in Babylon. Read one page today, then another tomorrow. Let the knowledge compound like the interest you are not yet earning. Start small. You don't need $10,000 to begin. You need the decision. You need the shift. You need to look at $1 and stop seeing coffee and start seeing a seed. One seed, planted with patience, watered with discipline, left alone with wisdom. That seed becomes a tree. The tree becomes a forest. And the forest provides shade long after you are no longer standing in the sun. Warren Buffett wasn't born different from you. He was not handed a golden ticket. He was an 11-year-old boy in Omaha, Nebraska with $38 and a library card and a burning, unquenchable desire to understand. That desire is in you too. I know it is, because you are still here. You didn't scroll past. You didn't check out. You felt something in these words because somewhere inside you, you have always known that the life you are living is not the full life available to you. You have always known there was more. There is, go get it, don't work for money. Make money work for you. That is the lesson. That has always been the lesson. If this moved you, if this changed something in your thinking, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Subscribe, because we are just getting started.